I felt like, you should know what I like. You should know that I want to go out to on a date. You should know, how I'm feeling. You should know to go buy me something, bring it home, make me feel special. Like all of that stuff in my mind, I'm internalizing this thing, and I'm like, he should know all this.
You should know I'm a woman. Be romantic, right? Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, the podcast where we navigate life, marriage, and ministry. I'm Charles.
And I'm Tesa. Join us as we share insights, wisdom, and practical advice to strengthen your marriage, empower your life, and enrich your ministry.
Let's dive in together and discover the joys of doing it with the Daniels. Welcome to Doing It with the Daniels, where we help couples get it on in life, marriage, and ministry. What's up, babe?
What's up?
You just couldn't
help myself.
You had to jump in. That's all right.
I figured I'd do it with you this time.
That's all right. So what's up? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready. This episode's gonna be good, fun, hopefully enjoyable, engaging. Hopefully they'll get a couple laughs out of it and learn some things.
Yeah, I think this one will be good for couples who are married, kind of to reflect on some things, and for couples who aren't married to really consider some things as we talk about this episode. I think it'll be good. I think there's some good stuff here that'll be beneficial. It's well, go ahead. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm excited. What are we talking about?
So we are talking about what we wish we knew before we got married.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's always kind of something once you're married to reflect on. You think back to all the things you wish you would have known so that you could go into it with a different perspective and not get kind of smacked across the face with some stuff that was totally unexpected. When you first get married, you come into it thinking all we need is love. All we need is love, and as long as we love each other, man, we're going to conquer the world together. And then you realize, man, marriage is about a lot more
than just love.
Yes.
So what we found out, love does not fix what? Bad habits.
Love
covers, but
it don't make it all better. Right? It's some stuff that still got to be dealt with while we're in love.
Yes.
So that's definitely good. So let's talk about that, because I think this will help all the couples, whether they're engaged, they're dating, they're married, newlyweds. It'll really help them to really, really hone in that perspective of marriage and maybe fine tune their expectations of marriage. I think about just as recently as last night, you and I, as we laid in the bed, preparing to go to sleep. I mean, at that point, our lights were off. Everything was off. We were laying there really trying to go to sleep, but we ended up talking. And I said to you, baby, did you think, when you thought about marriage, did you think about us laying in the bed and just talking about life, children, family, like the stuff that concerns us, celebrating the joys of what we see God doing in other people's lives, but yet thinking about the things that concern us, that need our attention? And we were both like, no, like we didn't think about this part. I think some people call it pillow talk to a certain extent. It's where, you're there and you're just talking to your spouse about the stuff that concerns you in life. And but you don't think about that when you think about getting married. You think about the love and we're going to build a family and we're going to travel.
How many kids we're going to have. Where we're traveling to.
But you never think about when life hits and this is the person you talk to. This is the person you confide in. This is the person you build that intimate relationship with, because it's likely you don't have anybody else you can talk to.
No.
So it becomes a big part of the relationship.
Yeah, it does. So I don't think we did that in the beginning.
I think we did.
I think
we did. Maybe not as much now, but I think we did a little bit.
Okay.
I think every couple you kind of have that, especially with women.
Maybe it just looked different back then.
Yeah, it was different. Different concerns.
Yeah.
Different phase of life when we first got married.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. Let's go ahead and save our couples. Let's save these couples some time, some heartache, some stress, some pain by telling them some things that we wish we would have known.
Okay.
Starting out in our marriage or before we got married.
Okay.
And let's do that. So number one, I think we kind of hit on it, but what do we have? What's the first thing?
So the first thing is love. And with that, so love does not fix bad habits.
Yeah, absolutely. Love doesn't fix bad habits. As a matter of fact, a lot of the things that may annoy you about your spouse before you get married, when you get married, love doesn't make those things go away.
It magnifies it. It makes it bigger. And
Yes.
you be looking like, oh my God, I
Mm-hmm.
wish I would have known this before. I think a lot of people say that. They find themselves saying that, I wish I would have known this before. I wish I would have saw this before I said I do or I got married.
Yeah.
So,
As a man, if like for me, when I get out the bed, I mean, when I get in the bed at night, I kind of slide my socks off and they're on the side of the bed. But when I got married, I didn't magically like, yeah, I'm gonna put my socks in the dirty clothes hamper now because I'm married. No, I get in the bed and they still hit the side of the bed. So whatever habits, whatever traits your partner has before you get married, they're probably still going to have those same traits after you get married. If there's something that you see about them before you get married and you're like, oh, that's nothing, I just love them. Okay. It's great that you love them.
you love them.
Keep on loving them because once you get married, that thing isn't going anywhere.
No, it's not. And so for me, I think mine was patience. And so I had to ask God to help me with my patience and as far as being married. And so that was a big thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't automatically become more patient with your partner
No.
after you get married. I think people are very patient while they're dating because they want to create that great impression and I want you to see me as a maid and want to be with me. But then if your patience is thin, once you get married, it's probably going to get thinner.
It's gonna get thinner. And when you're dating, people show up as their best self. They're what we call it, their representative. They're it's another word that we used to say, but they're representative, and you showing up as like the best you that you can be in those moments. And so, but when you get married, it changes, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're not.
You show up and say, hey, this is
kinda-
the real me.
Kind of let your hair down, and it's kind of flops and it changes, and it's like, oh, okay. That's why I'll be like, why I ain't noticed this before?
Yeah.
It's because you got relaxed.
But you did notice it. You noticed it. You just tried to.
Sometimes we say, oh, it's okay. It ain't no big deal. I can live with that.
And everybody else around you notices it. If it's outward like that, they notice it. They're like, ooh, they like that. You're like, yeah, but I love them. Okay. But when you get married, it's like, I can't stand it. And everybody, all your friends around, yeah, we told you about that before you married, but you was like, but I love him.
Yeah.
You're like, well, it wasn't that bad. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
It was just the same.
You just didn't notice
You just didn't notice it because you were so in love. You didn't give attention to it. You thought it would get better.
Yeah.
And it didn't. So you're absolutely right. Love does not fix bad habits. So the key to that is whatever you notice now, start working on it before you get married.
Yeah.
Or if you notice something early in the marriage, start working on it. Don't wait till you get mad and there's this big blow up to address it.
Yeah.
Address it now while you so madly in love.
Yes.
And you can do it in a healthy way and say, hey, I don't really like when you do that, or that's kind of annoying. I still love you. I just noticed that you do this. Is there a way we can adjust around that? And you can do it before it gets to the point where you endure it, and then you get into the marriage and you're trying to just take it, and all of a sudden, boom.
Or you try and change them.
Right. Or you try to change that person. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. So another thing we learned is you can't read each other's mind. That's a good one because when we got married, I just expected you to know certain things.
Oh my God.
You should know this, and that was putting a lot of pressure and I think unexpected expectations on you where you felt like, I felt like, you should know what I like. You should know that I want to go out to on a date. You should know, how I'm feeling. You should know to go buy me something, bring it home, make me feel special. Like all of that stuff in my mind, I'm internalizing this thing and I'm like, he should know all this.
You should know I'm a woman. Be romantic, right? But really, what it goes to, sometimes we get comfortable as men and it's like, I got you now. So all of what you saying I should know, and I don't know that you itching for a date night. I don't know that you want to go out. I don't know.
You just want to spend time.
Yeah, or that you want me to think about you when I'm out and get a nice gift or not something expensive,
But just
but
something
something that
small.
says I'm thinking of you. Didn't know it. Had to learn it. Then, finally I would come to you. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, okay. I took it as face value. You say you okay, you must be okay. Not really understanding. No, you're
No,
not
not
okay. And that's where you had to express
Exactly.
and share. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is
What
what
I
I'm thinking.
need.
Yeah, this is what I need from you. You have to communicate
Yeah.
as a couple.
And I had to not expect you to read my mind and know everything because you
Mm-hmm.
don't know how I'm feeling. You don't know what I'm thinking. And so with that, I had to calm down. I'm like, okay, let me go and talk to him and tell him. Like, I just feel like, I think one time I was like, I just feel like we roommates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I expected you to see it and know it, but you like, what you talking about? And I'm like, well, we just going through life. We don't date. We don't go out to eat. We just don't we're not spending any time together. And so you can get into that routine as a couple.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like you should know it and see it and change it, and you just going on like you don't notice nothing.
Yeah, and we as men, we don't get it, and we need that. I can remember even more harshly you saying to me like, I feel like you don't really pay attention to me until you want to get in the bed.
Uh-oh.
Like that's all you want. But I think a lot of men, I'm saying that for the sake of a lot of men who may be hearing that from their spouse and trying to figure out like, what are you talking about? Like, yes, this is a part of marriage. Yes, it's the part I'm thinking about, and all that other stuff you thinking about. You need to vocalize that to me so I know that those are concerns, because no man wants his wife to feel that way if he really loves her.
Yeah.
But we don't know y'all feel that way because we think y'all want what we want.
Yeah. And we don't. Not all. Well, you got some that are kind of.
But a majority of women, it's not. The man is typically going to be the driver.
Yeah.
In that area of when it comes to sexual intimacy, it's going to be the man most of the time, in our experience. But for women, they want something beyond that.
Exactly.
The intimacy, the non-sexual touch,
The time
together. And sometimes you have to express that.
You can't expect them to know that.
You can't expect him to know.
Yeah.
Right. Because he, in his mind, hey, I want you, you want me, let's do it.
Like, we married, we in this thing.
Right.
Let's go.
And it's not that they don't want to. And you're a woman, you can speak to this. But it's just there are other pieces that go around that for a woman.
Yeah.
It's the dating. It's the communication.
It's the connection.
It's the
That's
connection.
what we want.
Yeah.
We want to feel like we're connected to you before all of that.
Yeah.
Like, we could do it.
I'll even give them this right here. This is a gold nugget for them. We teach this to some of the couples when we take them through their marital training course, and we teach them that about love between a man and woman. It shows up different.
Yeah.
Men feel love through sex, right? Come on, this is gonna help some people for real. Men feel love through sex. Women have sex because they feel love.
Yeah.
Right? So when a man wants love, he wants that expression of sex. When a woman feels in love, then she's willing to have sex.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around. And that's why men and women are so different. And you have to find that balance. So a husband's responsibility is to make sure your wife feels love.
Yeah, exactly.
Because her feeling of love will cause her to freely give of herself to you.
Yeah.
But for a man, he
don't need none of that.
He won't. In the moment, he will feel love.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you that'll help a lot of couples if they can find the balance. Of that and understand how to manage those expressions and expectations. It will help them in that area.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So something else we learned is fight.
Well, let me say this because it's good too to know this, that in the marriage, if you feel something, say something. Because you shouldn't wait for your spouse to crack the code on your emotions.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Don't
try to figure me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should know this. Figure it out. Look, listen to my body language. You see something off. Sometimes they don't realize things are off.
Right.
They just feel like everything's fine.
Absolutely. Okay, come on. Let's go. I wanted to make sure we say that.
Yeah, that was good. So the next thing we learned was fights aren't about winning. That's a good one.
That is a good one because
that's you all day.
because when we got married and I mean, you don't get married to argue. I was hoping we never have an argument, but we did.
But disagreements happen.
You have disagreements,
Yeah.
and they happen over and over again. You don't just have one.
No.
We don't just have one. You have several. You have many through the course of the marriage. As long as you're together and you're growing and you're changing and you're dealing with life,
You're going to disagree.
right? Because you're not going to be the same people and you're not going to deal with the same issues. But with that, you have to understand that these disagreements are not, as you said, they're not about winning. Which for me,
They were.
at one time, it was about winning. It was about me being right and you seeing it my way.
And I was wrong.
And we're going to stay in this until you see it my way. And for me, it wasn't necessarily you was wrong. It was just that you have to see that I was righter than you. I was more right than you were.
That was a trying time, let me tell you. Jesus.
And so we had to kind of navigate through that, but I didn't realize that in winning, per se, the argument or the disagreement, every time I won, I was losing you to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's pushing me further and further away.
Yeah.
And it made me not want to be able to talk to you about certain things because I'm like, okay, if I come to him, he's not going to, number one, he's not going to hear anything that I'm saying, and he's not going to change. And it's always, he's right, I'm wrong. And so it kind of pushed me away. So when I did have things that I need to come to you about, I didn't, because I'm like, what's the use? What am I going to come? Why? He's always going to shut me down. It's always going to be his way. He's going to, and so I just felt like I just kind of held stuff in. I just stopped talking. And so it just kind of pushed me away. Yeah.
And when I began to notice that, and when I began to learn some things just by studying marriage, and that was another thing that really helped me, that, and we can add this is not on the list, but we can add this to the list. You need to invest in your marriage.
Yeah.
We didn't know that we needed to invest. We need to learn about marriage. We need to learn what it meant to be marriage. Following the example of our parents, whether good or bad, was not the way to go. Even if we took all their good traits in marriage, it still wouldn't serve our marriage.
Yeah, because we're not them.
We're not them.
We're different.
Right. We had to learn the principles of marriage. We had to learn why marriage matters and what our roles were in marriage.
Yeah, what the word says about marriage.
What the word says. We had to get other resources, other books that could help us, wisdom from other couples who had learned and grown through it. Other podcasts like we're doing now for couples, they can listen to our podcast and learn from us. This is an investment in your marriage, your relationship, or your future relationship. And we didn't know that. We didn't know we thought we were going to go through premarital counseling, graduate from premarital counseling, and we're ready to go have a great marriage. And we found out real fast that even with all the tools, you still have to learn how to implement and work through some of your own baggage, or it won't matter.
Because I've learned people have the tools, but they don't use them.
Yep.
And so that is a recipe for disaster. You know what to do and you don't do it.
Yes.
That's not good.
All right. So we threw another one in there, but let's finish the one we were on.
Okay.
With fights aren't about winning.
Yeah.
It's really more so fights are about coming to a place of understanding. It's not about winning. And when you come to an argument with a scoreboard, and I was an athlete, so everything is about a score. Who
you was winning.
Who gonna win? So whoever got the most wins is the winner.
Yeah.
But in a relationship, that's not what it's about. It's not about winning. If you win in an argument, you've probably lost.
Yeah.
And that's the
so
thing I
you
had
were
to learn.
winning, but you were losing.
I was
but
winning.
you were really losing.
Oh, I was walking away with the victory.
But you was losing in the marriage. So you was winning in the arguments, but you was losing in the marriage.
Was winning.
You was losing.
Yes, I was winning the arguments, but I was losing my wife. And I began to notice after a period of time, like you said, the withdrawing. It was really a disconnection that was beginning to take place because you were disconnecting your heart from me because you didn't feel heard, you didn't feel loved, you didn't feel valued, because it was always I'm right, you're wrong. Let me shut you down when we have a disagreement, and you just get on board with me.
Yeah.
And that's not marriage. That's not a partnership.
It's not.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. So we don't fight. Here's the key. We don't fight to win.
Yeah.
If we're going to fight to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We're going to fight together to make it right, to
Gain.
make it work, not to fight each other.
Gain an understanding and then work together.
Yes.
That's good.
Come on.
All right. So something else we learned was marriage takes work even when it's good.
Oh, yeah.
Even when it's good, hey, it still takes work.
Even when it's good, because you can get married and you think, we love each other.
Yeah.
This is going to be great because we love each other. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to just get married and, hey, we're having a great time together.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's just keep this train rolling. But what happens when you hit a bump in the road?
Yeah. Because it's coming.
It's coming.
Even in a good marriage, you're going because you guys are still working on to becoming one and you're changing. You know, if you've been married for a couple years, things change, you change, you know, so everything changes. And so just because it's good now, like you said, what happens later on when things happen?
Yeah. And life is going to hit.
Yeah.
It can be, the marriage can be good. And like, it could be something as simple as it's not bad, but life may get busy. And so with the business of life, you stop dating.
Yeah.
You stop showing love.
When
You stop showing
kids come
concern.
in.
Kids come along and you
Yeah.
get wrapped up in the children and you forget to give attention to the marriage.
Yeah.
Like all of that, and it's stuff that creeps in so subtle
Yeah.
and you don't even notice it until one day you look up and you realize we're different.
Yeah.
We don't operate like we used to.
Yeah.
We don't, that closeness, that connection isn't
there.
there. What's going on? And so you have to give maintenance. You have to have a maintenance plan for your marriage.
Yeah. That's good.
And it's just like with a vehicle, right? You don't wait till your vehicle breaks down to say, "Oh, I should get an oil change." You know, by that time the motor has froze up, it's gone. You done ruined it.
Yeah.
Now you need a new vehicle. And that's what a lot of couples do. They don't know any better. They get to running with life. And in our case, it's very easy to get to running with ministry. Because ministry can be all consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, it can consume your life if you're not careful. And having a spouse and a family while being married, you have to be very careful that you don't lose yourself or lose your family in ministry.
Yeah.
But you have to have those maintenance pieces in the marriage where you kind of unplug and spend time with your family, spend time with your wife. Even now, with our youngest son, just with us, with the walks that we do, walking with him has been so nice. That's just time, you know, because he's in school, he does schoolwork, we're doing ministry stuff, but that's our time. That's not about ministry. That's not necessarily about school, although we do study our flashcards sometimes while we're walking. It's really about, it's us.
Yeah.
And I can tell he really enjoys that time because it's just about him and us.
Right.
Right. And so you have to have those maintenance pieces in for family and for the marriage that help keep it strong.
Yeah. That's good.
So even though it's good, don't forget, you still have to give attention and put in the work to keep it good.
So something else we learned was friendship matters more than you think.
I love that. And when I read that, when I hear that, I think about the question we were asked in counseling, in our marriage counseling. That question really sticks out. That when Pastor Harris at True Light Church of God in Christ, when he was counseling us through our marriage course, and we went in there and we were so in love and we just knew that we was ready to be married because we loved each other. You know, I think he asked us, "Do y'all love each other? You know, are you in love? And how do you know you love each other?" We had all the right answers. We feel like because all about love. And then he asked us a question that made both of us pause because we never thought about it. He said, "All right, y'all love each other. That's good." He said, "Do you like each other?" And I think we both paused and looked at each other. We was like, what? What does like have to do with marriage? But we found out like has a lot to do
with it.
Because you might be crazy in love, but what do you do when
you don't feel the love
when
anymore.
You don't feel the love? Because love is not really a feeling, right? Love is one of those things where you back up and you're like, wait a minute. Those days that come where, hey, I ain't feeling so in love with you, but if I like you, we're gonna be all right. I still like you even when I'm not feeling you.
Yeah, that's it right there. Because you fall in and out of love, right, all the time.
Well, I won't say you fall in and out of love. You just don't.
Well, you say,
it's yeah, it's hard to express.
That's
It
why.
feels like you fall in and out of love, but I think it's you don't feel.
Yeah.
You don't feel in love. Yeah, you still love them.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
just don't
Feel.
feel.
Because somebody asked one time about y'all still got butterflies, and we like,
Like we feel
no,
butterflies around. What you
no.
talking about?
But I guess that's that's how that's what they think. Like,
Yeah.
Since you love somebody, you're married, that you just got these butterflies all the time. That's like, when you're newly dating, newly married, all of that, but you still love them. You
And
don't have
every
to
now
feel.
and then you get the butterflies back. Every now and then.
Yeah.
You go on a date night, you have a good conversation, you connect, you feel, okay, this feels good. People just have to remember, romance won't get you through everything.
That's right.
But when you like each other and you're friends, that will get you through some of the hard times of the marriage, of the relationship.
Yeah, being friends is really, really important because you can open up.
Yeah.
You trust more. And I like that part of it. I feel like you should always try to be friends first.
Yeah.
And then everything else flows from that.
Yeah, I think when people think about friendship, last point on this, they should laugh together, talk, have great conversations together, enjoy one another's company, and make those things a priority.
Yeah.
And I think if they do that, the love is going to always be there. And the likability, or I should say the friendship, needs to be maintained as well. And it'll get you through all of the phases of that relationship with the help of God.
Yeah. And another thing we learned was money will expose your differences.
Yeah, money will expose how you.
Money will expose a lot.
You'll know who's the spender, who's the saver.
We learned that early on.
Yeah.
So I was trying to be the savior, and you were trying to be you were the spender.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah. I believe
you was the spender / risk taker.
Yeah, I would take risks. I wasn't crazy, but I would try stuff. I would invest in things. I would do things. That was just a part of. But I think you were more. Let's play it safe.
Yeah.
Let's keep it safe. And I think that's just part of being a woman wanting security.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we don't put our quality of life at risk.
Right.
And so I get that, and that's. Once we learn to balance those two things, so we can have things, but we need to balance things at the same time.
Exactly. So that was good.
Yeah,
I think we learned that, but I think it's changed.
Yeah. Well, we found the balance of it.
Yeah.
We found the balance of it. So now we use each other's strengths when it comes to money, and it helps us to stay in a secure place while at the same time not limiting our life from doing things that we want to do or, trying things. So it's good. And I think with this, couples just have to talk about money.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We didn't always
Who's
agree.
Who's better at paying the bills? Who's better at this? Who's better at that? Who should do this? And it worked out once we start putting those things in place.
100%.
But in the beginning, it was kind of all over the place.
The key is remembering avoiding doesn't make it go away.
No.
Don't avoid money problems. Talk about
them. That's good. The next thing is, I'll say the next thing we learn. You marry.
Because this is not an all-inclusive list.
No.
It's so much more that we could discuss.
Yeah. And so one of the things we learned was you marry the family too.
Ooh.
So you got all my folks.
Hey, we're both affected by
our families.
Each other's families. Yeah. It plays a role.
Yeah.
So
coming into this, you didn't think that you was like, I'm just marrying.
I'm marrying Tesa.
Yeah. And you didn't realize you were getting me and all these other folks.
The parents, the siblings, the cousins.
Yeah.
Look, I adopted the grandparents. I take them too. You get all of it because those people matter to you. Those people are important to you. And if I'm marrying you and they're important to you, you don't cut them off.
Exactly.
When we get married, that's not how marriage and families coming together. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and same with me. You got my family.
Hey, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You got all of what you
all of whoever they are. I got all of whoever you're. It's a part of it. So I think it's important for couples to meet the other partner's family.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting into. Now you should not let the family. They need to know their role.
Yeah.
And as a spouse, you need to know what the boundary of their role and influence is in the marriage.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be detrimental to the
Yeah.
marriage. But understand that whatever goes on with that family is going to affect your spouse.
Exactly.
And you got to be
That's
prepared to
good.
walk through that with them, even to the point that what does it look like? And we don't have to go into detail about it, but what does it look like if your partner's spouse, if your spouse's family needs help and your spouse is able to help them?
Mm-hmm.
Are you supportive, or are you, no, that's your problem. That's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's going to create tension in your
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
Now, you need boundaries.
You need boundaries. I was getting ready to say that.
You need boundaries. You need to know to what extent you can help, but you also need to be aware of the help you're willing to give and how supportive your spouse is going to be with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. That's
It's
good.
kind of like if something happened with my mother and she needed to come live with me. Well,
I can't be like, she ain't come to live with us. You know, I
Yeah.
can't do that.
I mean, you can, but
I
I'm gonna
bet
be like,
shouldn't.
I'm like, what you mean? Where's she gonna go? I got a room for her. What you mean she can't go? It's gonna create tension.
Yeah.
Right? Now, even if it's temporary, while we work on some of the adjustments, as a parent, my parent, she shouldn't have to be concerned about where she's gonna sleep if something happens with her situation.
Right.
Same with you. If something happens with your mother's situation, she shouldn't have to wonder if she has somewhere to go.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's just, but those are things that need to be discussed. They need to be discussed beforehand.
Because that's things that you don't think about.
Right. You don't think
We
you
don't
it's
think
gonna be
about.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't realize that
life happens.
Life happens. And there are people, if God blesses us, there are people who may need us for a temporary period of time. Hopefully it's just temporary.
Right.
But what about when you have elderly parents?
Yeah.
And they need to be taken care of.
Uh-huh.
If they're not financially prepared to have a caregiver, sometimes the children become the caregiver. So
what does that look like? In a marriage?
I'm telling you, these are things that they have to consider, because you get the family.
Yeah.
And if you're committed to that marriage, different aspects of life are going to show up.
Yeah. And those are things that we normally don't think about.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, I'm about to get married, you're so excited that you about to get married, but those things come up later on, and you be like, wow, I ain't think about none of this. So some things that we should have thought about, early on that we didn't consider. I don't think we considered that.
No, we didn't. But
it just started happening in
Yeah.
our marriage. Somebody needs to come stay. Somebody need this. Somebody need that. And so we're trying to figure out how to navigate those things now within the marriage.
Yeah. So I think it's a discussion that needs to be
We
had.
need to put that in the marriage counseling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it may come up, but
Yeah. Set healthy expectations. Have healthy boundaries, and just talk and work through it before it happens.
Yeah.
So when it happens, you have a plan.
yeah, that's good. I like that.
Sounds good.
All right.
The only thing I always say, what I think is, keep family out of your marriage.
Yeah.
The family's apart. You come together,
Yeah.
but don't let them come in and start influencing and controlling. And if I was you, I'd do, and I wouldn't take this.
Yeah. No. We're talking about helping the family.
Yes.
If they need help.
Yes.
But we're not talking
or
about
just them being apart.
Yeah.
Just knowing what you have to deal with. If you got a crazy uncle, I mean, you just got a crazy uncle. So we at the family reunion, I got to understand. There's a crazy uncle to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I got a crazy aunt, hey, there's a crazy aunt to be dealt with, and we have to learn how to navigate those different relationships. So it won't all be about assisting. Sometimes it'll just be about the dynamics of what goes into being with the family.
different family dynamics.
Different
I think
family
you had to
dynamics.
learn that,
Yeah, I think we both did, Different family dynamics play a huge role. Siblings.
Yeah.
Siblings have an impact.
Yeah.
All of that is a part of it. So
Yeah. But it was been good.
it was good. It's been good for us.
Yeah, it's been good. We learned a lot.
We did.
We had to learn through this. So we didn't come into this with all this stuff.
And like I said, these are things we wish we knew before coming in
Yes, Lord.
to the marriage. But hey, we know now.
We know now.
God has
so
given us the
now
ability to handle it now.
our job is to help others.
Help others. So
Help
while you in love, talking about, I'm so ready to get married, here are a few things to consider before you
Say I do.
jump in there. Yes.
Just consider.
Just consider and have conversations. If you're engaged, have those conversations and be ready to work through any differences that you all may have. Like I said, this is not an all-inclusive list.
No,
It's so much more
Yeah.
that we could talk about that we wish we would have known. But these are just a few things to consider as you prepare to go into it, or if you're already in a relationship, to reflect on. Yeah, it would have been nice.
Yeah. Had I
know
known this.
Yeah.
I think I've said that before. Wish I would have known.
Sounds good. Well, listen, thank y'all for joining us. Been a great time sharing with you. I hope this was helpful to you. If you think it'll be helpful to someone you know, share it with them. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and never miss an episode that we're sharing. We're doing it with the Daniels. Can't wait to see you till next time. Take care and God bless you.
Hey, thank you for joining us for Doing It with the Daniels. If you want to keep up with everything going on our channel, don't forget to
Like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.